If you're retired or close to it, what should you be doing in your finances here in this fourth quarter before 12/31? I've got your fourth quarter financial checklist for you retirees. That and more coming up. My name's Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. All right, we've rounded the corner. We're in the fourth quarter. What do you need to be doing in your financial life to make sure that you don't run out of room with a financial strategy, or maybe weren't aware of it to begin with, and then all of a sudden, poof, it's gone. You're not able to do it. You missed an opportunity. Well, we love doing tax planning. We prepare a lot of taxes, but tax preparation is reactive. It's taking the right number, getting it in the right box, and filing an accurate tax return. Tax planning, though, is the proactive, the creative work of saying, well, what could I be doing in my financial life that actually improves my tax picture so that I pay the least amount of tax over my lifetime? Well, many of those tax strategies, they have a 12/31 deadline, so you have to consider those. So whether you are newly retired, about to retire, and just want to tune in to, hey, well, what will be on my to-do list financially once I get there, or whether you've been retired for a long time, what do you need to make sure that you do here in this fourth quarter in your finances before the end of the year? First, you need to sit down with your health insurance expert and make sure that you update your health insurance for this next year. For many of you, if you're on Medicare in retirement, if you didn't retire before age 65, then that aligns with open enrollment. Open enrollment starts right now. October 15 goes all the way to December 7th. And this is a window that you have each and every year to make a couple of adjustments within your health insurance. Now, you can change if you've decided to go with Medicare Advantage, Medicare Part C, you can shift Medicare Advantage plans during this window. For most people, if you are on traditional Medicare, as we call it, Part A, B, D, and a supplement, Part D, your drug plan, this is a window where you can shift that drug plan, and there have been a lot of changes with laws around they're closing the donut hole and making some changes within the drug plan. So work with your health insurance expert during this open enrollment period to ensure that you've got the right plans so that you are set up with your health insurance for the rest of 2025. If you are retired and you're not yet on Medicare, this is also a great time to sit down with your health insurance advisor, your health insurance expert, and look at, you're probably getting your health insurance through healthcare.gov, and you're going to want to look and make sure that you've got the right plan, you've got the right income level threshold built in there for your premium tax credits. So either way, meeting with your health insurance expert, or at least connecting with them, doing that before 12/31, or if you're on Medicare, before December 7th, that is the first thing on your to-do list. Second, you need to sit down with your certified financial planner and build out this year's tax projection, as well as feed that into a multi-year tax projection. If you're not familiar with those terms, a tax projection is something that your certified financial planner should be doing for you, where they are kind of creating a mock tax return for you this year. Yes, we're in the fourth quarter. The year's not over yet, so there's still a little bit of room, but how much Social Security will you have this year? What are your IRA withdrawals this year? What's your interest, dividends, capital gains? What can we project out? What can we expect your income to look like? And when you're able to do that, when you have a view, yes, it could change, but when you've done the math and you've got an estimate or projection of what your tax picture is going to look like, all of a sudden you can see, well, what tax bracket will you land in, and are there strategies that you should implement to either bring some income into this year, or maybe you are underpaid in. You need to do a withholding estimate, or excuse me, a 60-day IRA rollover withholding strategy. We've talked about that before. Maybe you need to do a quarterly estimate. You can see what your tax picture could look like, and that gives you an ability to make some changes proactively. Then feeding that into a multi-year tax projection where you can see, this is what we're expecting it to look like this year, but then here's what it should look like next year and the following, so that you can anticipate, well, over time, do we expect changes in your income, changes in your tax picture, and should you do anything earlier, sooner in this year or next year before potentially tax laws sunset and we see higher tax rates? So second, building out that tax projection, multi-year tax projection, that feeds right into the third and fourth. The third, if you are over age 70 and a half, you need to consider doing a qualified charitable distribution from your IRA to donate to charities. If you're donating to the church or other nonprofits, qualified nonprofits, 501c3s, you can do so directly out of your IRA once you reach age 70 and a half. And when you do that, the money comes directly out of your IRA and it's not taxable to you. Therefore, you don't need to worry about itemizing your deductions to get a benefit for donating to charities. You're going to want to do this before you do your required minimum distribution. If you're over age 73, or let me say that differently, if you're 73 or older, you need to be doing a required minimum distribution and doing your qualified charitable distributions, QCDs, before your RMD is the right order, because your required minimum distribution, the QCDs that you do count towards that required minimum distribution and reduce the amount that you're required to withdraw. That's third. And then fourth, that same tax projection that you're going to do in task number 2 is going to help you reveal whether you should rule in doing a Roth conversion or rule out doing a Roth conversion. A Roth conversion is something that needs to be done by 12/31, so by the end of this year. And I don't know how you could determine, how you could rule it in or rule it out without creating that tax projection, without also first looking at your RMD and whether you're doing QCDs. Once that's all clear and out of the way, then you can look and say, actually, we still could withdraw another 10 grand, or we could still have another 10 grand of income and stay in the 12% tax bracket. Yes, let's do a Roth conversion of 10 grand. After we do our QCD, after we finish taking our RMD, there's still another 10 grand that we can draw. Let's shift that from our pre-tax account, pre-tax IRA, over to our Roth. That way, those dollars fill up the 12% tax bracket, willing to pay tax at that low rate, and now I've got those dollars positioned in my Roth to grow tax-free for the rest of my life. So you've got to rule in or rule out a Roth conversion. So many people in retirement should be considering a Roth conversion, but they get on autopilot. They assume, well, I haven't done one in the past, it hasn't hurt me, so I shouldn't do one in the future. No, that's absolutely not. Work with your certified financial planner on that. And then fifth, the last thing on your to-do list for you retirees in the fourth quarter is reassess your investment asset allocation and do any rebalancing that you need to do, especially as the stock market has run up in value here due to lots of government spending, due to some stimulus even over in China, due to calming inflation and interest rates starting to come down, all sorts of reasons. But when you look at the amount of the valuations, for lack of a better term, of the underlying stock market, it's fair to assume that we could see some volatility ahead, especially with the election still up ahead and some questions about the strength of the overall economy. The stock market's had a fantastic run, and sure, when you're in retirement, that you're taking the right level of risk. Yes, this is important throughout your career as well, but in retirement, your time horizon is shorter. You're drawing dollars out of your investments. So for many of our clients, we're taking a look and saying, how much do you expect to withdraw out of your investments over the next few years? Let's make sure that that's in low risk, short-term investments. How much money do you expect to then draw out of your investments years 3 through 7, or for maybe the 4 or 5 years after these next two? That should be in medium risk, so that, yeah, there's a little bit more growth potential, but if the stock market has a steep decline or we face a recession, that those dollars don't decline as much. And then the dollars 8+ years out there, still keep those in a diversified mix appropriate for your risk tolerance. So there you have it. Those are the 5 things. It may be more, but at least those 5 need to be on your financial to-do list if you're retired here in the fourth quarter. Work with your certified financial planner on that. If you don't have a CFP on your team, you can contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with K, wisemoneyshow.com. You can find us there as well, or send us an email, info@korhorn.com. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.